Hey, I wanted to post a little video about our first essay, which has been turned in and graded. A couple people who turned them in late. I'll get to yours shortly this morning. But if you turned it in on time, you should have it back to you. To check what your grade is, if you go to our Blackboard page, and on the left-hand course menu there, that where our links are for blogs and the module and the quizzes, you'll see one that says My Grades, and if you click into that, you should be able to see all the grades we have so far. When you look at your Summary 1 essay grade, I have uploaded a file back to it with my comments all over it. So make sure to download that file, open it up, and take a look, because it explains what you're doing well in your writing. It also points out some things that you should be kind of on the lookout for when you're writing the next essay, which is due Sunday night at midnight, right? I posted an announcement yesterday about the grading code sheet, which instead of typing the same thing 600 times a semester, I have the most common errors that I see in the essays. And so I can just easily say G4 or T1B or something like that. So on the grading code sheet, you'll see that there's a section for development, formatting, grammar, source incorporation, and tone. So they have the D, the F, etc. And so then you can see what the comment is on. And I should have highlighted exactly the area that is of concern. So if you're writing a comma splice, I will have highlighted the exact comma that is splicing two sentences together and put a G4, so you can see exactly where the error is occurring. So if you have any questions about that, certainly let me know. A lot of people didn't have their file name in the correct format, which I explained in the announcement how to do. So make sure that you only have one Summary 1. But I'm grading 30 of them. So when I download your file to my computer, which one is it? So put your last name, your first initial, and then the type of essay. So like Parker K Summary 1 or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm got a sore throat. Couple of other things. There was some confusion with the article title, which says data suggest. A lot of you changed it to data suggests, which is what we would say, but technically data is a plural word. So a datum is one piece of information, datum. Data is multiple pieces of information, so data is plural. So it sounds weird to say data suggest, and so I understand why many of you put data suggests, but it's one of those weird words that's plural. Datum is singular. There were some issues with the MLA page formatting, so make sure to look at section 57 of the textbook if that is something that I commented on. Like in MLA, I don't know why they do it. I don't make the rules, but it is confusing that they put the day, then the month, then the year. When we as Americans are used to the month and then the day and the year, that's hard to get used to. Also, some of you didn't double space the text, or you forgot your name and your page number in the upper right corner, things like that. So make sure to look through the text, section 57, for a refresher on that. Also, there's some issues that I'm seeing more and more over the years, and I think it's because we're used to seeing things on the internet. So for instance, this article, you read it on the internet, didn't capitalize the main words in the title. So for almost everybody, you guys copied it the way it was on the website. But I put that comment that we need to capitalize the main words in the title. But it wasn't that way on the website. So I understand that kind of confusion. Other issues are that when we're reading text on the internet, it's usually left justified. So it's just flat against the left side of the screen. And then there's a space between the paragraphs. So the paragraphs are spaced apart. Well, old school essay writing like this, we don't put spaces between the paragraphs and we indent that first line. So this is something that may evolve over the next decade to where they change the essay rules to fit what we're most used to. Because if we're used to seeing it that way on the internet with the paragraphs separated and not indented, Maybe they'll eventually change the rules. But until they do that, we need to follow the guidelines in the MLA format. So don't put those lines of spaces between your paragraphs, and make sure to indent those. Other things that I saw was the MLA format for titles. So if we think of pieces of a whole, so the article title is in quotation marks because it's a piece of the whole website. So the article titles need to be in quotation marks. The website name, like Los Angeles Times, needs to be in italics, that leaning font. So, and this is the same throughout all of our titles. So one song title is in quotation marks, but the name of the whole album is in italics. One article is in quotation marks, but the name of the magazine is in italics. One poem is in quotation marks, but the name of the book is in italics. So the pieces, the smaller pieces, are in quotation marks. The container that they're in, that is whole and unto itself, is in italics. So if that's a refresher from your MLA in 101, make sure that you've got the right formatting for titles. And that becomes very important later on. So for instance, if I were to say Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, well, is she talking about the song, or is she talking about the whole album? Well, the formatting tells you. If Dark Side of the Moon is in quotation marks, you know I'm talking about the song. If Dark Side of the Moon is in italics, you know I'm talking about the whole album, right? So something like that could be very important. Make sure to carefully read the directions. The assignment sheet said, don't put our own thoughts and opinions in this. This is just a summary of what Reyes says about this topic. And I reiterated that in the announcement. And more than half of you put your own thoughts and opinions and information and analysis in this, in a summary that does not belong. We can put that in our blog. We can talk about it all day long, but it doesn't belong in a summary. A summary isn't about what you think and know. A summary is about what was said in this article. So make sure as you're getting ready to turn in summary 2, you don't have any of your own opinion or information or ideas or critique or analysis of the topic, because that doesn't belong in a summary. We'll have lots of opportunity through the rest of the semester to formally write out our own thoughts and arguments. It just doesn't belong in a summary. Make sure also that you're meeting the required page length. I mean, that's not just an arbitrary hoop I give you to jump through. The page length determines the level of detail that you put into this. You could summarize Reyes's main idea in one sentence. The gender revolution has been lopsided. You could do it in a paragraph. You could do it in a page. I asked you to do it in 2 pages. So the level of detail is determined by the page length. So definitely pay attention to that. Also, when we're looking at our MLA citation, I will be posting a handout that I find helpful to our Module 1 folder to help with our MLA citation if you need a refresher on that. Also, Purdue University has a great website. It's called OWL. It's the Online Writing Lab. And that has a lot of great information to help with all kinds of citation, whether it's MLA or if you have to do APA formatting for another class, it's on there. If you use one of those citation aids, like citationmachine.net or bibme.org to help with your works cited page, I don't care. Just make sure to compare it to this handout or another reliable website, because about 2 years ago, they revised MLA. We're no longer using MLA version 7. We're using version 8. So make sure that you're using the correct up-to-date version of that. So when you're reading through the comments, be aware that if there's a pattern of errors, I may have stopped marking them. So if you use the word you, and I told you T1B, right? Don't use you or your second person in academic writing. I may have marked that on the first 2 or 3 you that I saw, but I didn't mark them all. So you might see more comments in the first couple paragraphs than in the last, but make sure that you look for those errors all throughout. So let me know what questions you have. I'm happy to look at your essay before you turn it in on Sunday. The sooner you get it to me, the sooner I can get you feedback and more time you have to revise. Let me know what questions you have, and have a good day.